Gary.
Hello.
Gary.
Bob, why are you wearing a mask in your house?
Well, I've been told that the germs can come over the internet.
Viruses can't, though, Bob.
Yeah, we canceled the virus. Didn't you get the memo?
No. You know, just when you think things couldn't get any worse, they get worse.
Mm-hmm.
Seems that way, don't it?
And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Couldn't agree more, Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that movie? Remember there was a movie where there was like the last man in the world?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be me.
Well, all of us women that are still going to be around are going to be so surprised.
Rilistine, Rilistine, can you hear me? No.
She can hear you. She's just ignoring you.
I don't know if she can or not.
Rilistine, can you hear Bob? You have to unmute.
You have to unmute again.
I don't know what she said. Rilistine, we can't hear you.
You have to unmute.
Nope, not yet.
Now you can, right?
Now.
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Hello, Bob.
Rilistine, are you home?
Yeah, alone.
No, but I
I don't
mean,
know why I said that.
I mean, you're hooked up from your house.
What did you say?
No, you got a good connection from your home.
Oh, I see. That's because I don't have any heat.
Oh.
She was actually wondering if she could come stay with you tonight.
Just
I have a space heater.
Let me just a minute.
Did Mike help you, Rilistine?
Yes.
Sorry.
Good.
Jenny, are you calling about me?
Thank you.
For the.
I'm waiting for 3.
A Zoom meeting for the county commission starting like right at 3:30. So you want to do it tomorrow morning? Because this usually goes to 5. Hey, Ken?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
What is it with the Democrats all working from their basements?
Well, it helps us win elections, apparently.
Good response. I'm not in my basement.
No, I know it. Susie likes to sit outside in the Pat Johnson roundabout.
That's true. It's a little breezy out there today, but
Yeah, your hair's going all weird.
I see that. I don't want that to be distracting, so I'll turn my thing off if I can figure out how.
Yeah, there you go.
We are definitely the wrong age group for using technology.
So true.
I think it uses me more than I use it.
I'm with you,
Agreed.
Ken. And it usually does not like me.
Oh,
We're still waiting for 2.
We're missing Charles and Commissioner Snyder.
Charles is on there.
Charles is on. Zach, I don't see,
Okay, Zach, it must be Zach and
and John.
John. We'll give them a couple minutes and then we'll get started.
Just testing. Can you hear me?
Hello, Tim.
Hey. I'm going to mute myself until you guys need me to talk, okay?
Thank you.
Foster True Craft Barbecue here. I just got the new Uni Coda 16, so let's go open it. Here we go.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
tell your bride happy birthday from all of us.
Oh, yeah. She's celebrating herself today.
47, right?
Yeah. Actually, she gets to be Medicare person now.
I wasn't going to touch that. All women are 47 and they stop aging.
Yeah.
You have to get creative celebrating your birthday these days.
That's true.
Cook yourself. Oh, I suppose you can do takeout.
Well, since we have everybody except John Snyder, I think we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Is that all right with everybody?
Sure.
And with me,
And I would like to call the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners full board meeting for November 19th, 2020 to order. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please? No, you know what? I'll start it just like it's supposed to start. Realistine, could I have an invocation, please?
yes, ma'am. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you today in a spirit of thanksgiving and praise. Give us discerning hearts, dear Lord, so that we may better understand your desires for us as representatives of this county. We ask that you enter our deliberations today as we help the people of this county. We ask you to bless the seniors, the veterans, and the employees, to let them know that we care for them and we're grateful for their services and many experiences. This we ask in your name forever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Realistine. Vice Chair Foster, could I ask you to repeat the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, may I now have a roll call, please?
Vice Chair Foster,
Here.
Sorry, can I interrupt real quick?
Sure.
Under the amendments to the Open Meeting Act, all of the members need to state where they are attending from. And by that, I do not mean addresses. I simply mean city and county.
All right, thank you.
Vice Chair Foster, your location?
Here in Muskegon, Michigan.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Here and City of Muskegon. Muskegon
Chairman
County.
Hughes,
Muskegon County.
Commissioner Laring,
Commissioner Laring is excused. He may be joining us later.
thank you. Commissioner Mahoney,
Here in the big city of Montague.
Commissioner Nash,
Here, Muskegon, Michigan.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Here, Norton Shores.
Commissioner Snyder,
Excused and may be joining us later.
thank you. Commissioner Wilkins.
Here and representing Muskegon Heights, Northern Shores, and a precinct in Muskegon.
We have 7 present, 2 absent.
Thank you very much. Now we will move on to approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by
Support.
Mr. Foster, second by Realistine. Is there any comments, questions, or concerns on the approval of the agenda? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring. is not here.
Excused.
Yep. Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes,
7 yes.
thank you, and that motion carries. Next on our agenda is approval of the regular session minutes from November 10th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Foster, second by Commissioner Wilkins. Are there any comments or corrections on the regular session minutes? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Heavy Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes,
7 yes.
and that motion is also carried. Next on our agenda, we have presentation by Director of Public Health, Kathy Moore. Kathy, I'm certainly glad to hear you're staying safe and healthy.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, doing my best. And, I have to say that even with our positive cases, as we are investigating, we are finding that, a lot of our residents are taking the necessary precautions. And so we just don't know. In many circumstances, I mean, in a lot of them we do, but in certain circumstances, we just don't know where their exposure came from. And we're thinking of something as simple, again, as, touching a gas pump or just some of the incidental things. We've talked to people who have just been by themselves for the last, days before they were positive. And but they still had to get out and get prescriptions and groceries and gas and things like that. And it just could have been some very incidental exposure touches, episodes. This is information as of yesterday, last night. Total test of Muskegon County residents, 108,053. These are total tests. Of course, a lot of our residents have been tested multiple times, while others have never been tested at all. Total positive cases to date, Muskegon County residents, 5,501. The number of deaths is now at 131, and I just got 7 additional deaths faxed to me from Mercy Health today. We have recorded just the 1,660 as recovered. And you can see why we have all the active is because so many of those cases, most of the cases, more than half, came in over the last 3 weeks. Next slide. This is a state metric and a state chart. And it's a lot of people talk about our positivity rate. So I thought I would include that slide. This is straight out of the state's database. Positivity rate as of November 15th, 23.1. I just checked the state website again 5 minutes ago. They have updated it as of November 16th, 23.5. Again, this is the percentage of the people that tested for COVID-19 over the last 7 days. 23.1% of those tests were positive. That is not actually the number of individuals, not even the percentage of individuals. Interesting enough, quite a few of the same individuals were tested over that 7-day period. Next slide. This is I would say, one of our most critical metrics of measuring the status of COVID-19 in our community, and that is our hospital capacity. The chart at the top tells us regional hospital capacity, because many of the Muskegon County residents may be placed in any of these regional hospitals. And if you notice, Mercy Health St. Mary's, as of November 19th, I think it was 10:30 today, said that they were 100% occupied. The COVID cases don't reflect the entire occupancy of a hospital. So at the top, these are our regional hospitals, the number of COVID patients, and then the last column there is the occupancy percentage. Mercy Health Sherman, 97%. The chart at the bottom is just a daily metric of Mercy Health Sherman campus, which is our only hospital here in Muskegon County. So it's important to track this as well. As of today, and you know, it changes every hour based on discharges and people coming in. 136 adults, COVID patients, 37 of those patients in ICU, 17 on the vent, and 2 were transferred out. 59 people just as of, you know, this morning had reported to the emergency room with COVID-like symptoms. We are, again, very fortunate that the hospital has physical facility capacity. They set up 20 rooms at the Hackley campus, and they have actually moved 10 patients there. Those 10 patients are patients that still need to be hospitalized, but they are heading towards recovery, just not yet ready to be discharged. So that is just an amazing accomplishment that the hospital was able to set that up and get that staffed and move some patients over. It sounds like they're going to be moving even more over there within the next day or two. And then the final slide. The final slide is just an update on our prison population. If we notice on the very bottom chart, that was as of November 10th, and then the very top chart, November 19th. So in 9 days' time, the EC Brooks Correctional have gone from 270 positive inmates to 452. Active cases, 388, and that means those were recent diagnoses. They've diagnosed an additional 30 staff at the prison system, so from 13 to 43 positive staff. Muskegon Correctional had their outbreak a few months ago. So they are now up to 1,113 positive inmates, but only 109 of those are active or recent confirmations of positive. And then they have increased in the last 10 days of staff members from 46 to 65. And that concludes my brief report.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Kathy?
Yes, if I may, Madam Chair.
Yes, go right ahead.
Ms. Moore, would it be asking too much? This presentation you give us is very informative. Could we ask if you could send an email form to our township supervisor so they're all up to date for their residents?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, Commissioner Foster. And I do want to apologize to our township supervisors and municipalities, because I think the value we gave them was breaking down these cases by municipality. And so the last few weeks, these numbers came in so fast that we've not been able to look up every address and attach it to the municipality. But we will send what we have. But again, I think it's going to have more value if we can also let them know how many of their residents are positive cases.
I agree, and thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Kathy.
Chair,
Anyone else? Yes.
I would like to ask if we could get those slides sent to us in a JPEG format, please.
Yes. So I did send it to Christian Barnhill and Kathy Tharp. I'm not sure if either of them could convert it to JPEG. If not, I can definitely do it.
Susie,
Great. Appreciate that.
I have
Yes, go ahead, Bob.
Kathy, there was over 100,000 tests, like 105,000. How much did that cost and who paid for that?
So I have a list, and I could send that to you guys too. I have a list of about 30 different places that are performing tests, COVID-19 tests on Muskegon County residents. The largest number, so if I just go with one day, there was 1,864 tests conducted on November 12th in one day. And in that one day, NextGen out of Grand Rapids processed 659 of those, which is 35%. Mercy Health processed 433. Mercy Health Sherman processed 433, which is 24% of the day's tests. But the range is just all over, from U of M to a place called Arctic Medical Laboratories in Grand Rapids, who processed 39 tests. I'll send you that list, but they are being paid mostly through a lot of CARES Act dollars that's been distributed all over the state and all over the nation.
Well, the reason I asked was because I thought the number I heard was about $100. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it was
yeah, that's the lab cost, about $100 per analysis for the PCR test. Yes,
because that's like $10 million worth of tests so far. It's a lot of money. We're just one county. We're not even that big a county.
that's true. That is true. And there's going to be, I mean, there is a lot of dollars that has been dedicated towards COVID testing and response.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else? Seeing none, we will move on. Thank you very much, Kathy. We really appreciate all the information.
Thank you.
Next, we will move on to public comment on an agenda item. Is there anyone that would like to have a comment? Please raise your hand or speak up if you have. See, I don't see anyone with their hand raised. If I'm missing you, please just give me a shout out and we'll call on you. Okay?
Hi, this is Joe Bush. I have my hand up.
Yes, I'm sorry, Joe. Go right ahead.
Thank you.
I
You want
see
me
you
to
now.
start now? Okay,
Yeah,
this
go
is
right
Joe.
ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Susie. Joe Bush, 4090 Brayburn, Norton Shores. We have an agenda item with regard to, proclamation with regard to the election workers. While I think there are a number of election workers that probably did a fantastic job, I have some specific concerns with regard to some. We had precinct workers that were intentionally using the active ballot, the live ballots, to demonstrate how to vote on instead of the example ballot. For straight party voting, they were pointing to the Democrat box, which I think is totally inappropriate. We had an issue where we had election inspectors being hired that said they were Republican when they were actually Democrats, and they were struck pursuant to statute. We had workers that were, I can't see the time, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So we had workers that were instructed by the county clerk basically to take any yard signs down so that they wouldn't get caught at that point if they said they were Republican and they were actually Democrat. And finally, we had the Heights city clerk defer to the county clerk as to whether or not they had to hire Republicans because they were biased, because they had pro-Trump posts and anti-Biden posts on their social media. And as a result, they were told by the county clerk, and I have text messages directly from the city manager and confirmation from the city clerk, that the county clerk advised they were not to be hired because they were biased, and you didn't need to hire them. And so we had Republican election inspectors that were told, we don't need you because we have enough. And there was one in each precinct. Statute requires a minimum of equal as possible. So as much as we'd like to say that the election workers should be commended, I would like to say that we have a lot of work to do, and I would be opposed to that. And I appreciate all of your time, and I know there are some good workers out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Anyone else? If I'm missing any hands, please let me know. I'm trying to make sure I get to everybody full attendance list. I do not have anybody else. So we will move on to committee and board reports. Today, we only have Ways and Means. Commissioner Skolnick.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Ways and Means Committee met on November 17th, 2020. It was recommended and I moved WM 20/11, 110, 111, 112, 113, and 114.
Support.
113 was tabled, correct, Bob?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the agenda. Yes, so 110, 111, 112, and 114.
All right. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns on any of these? Did we get a second on this, Gary? You
Yes,
seconded this,
ma'am, I
correct?
did.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call for number 110, 111, 112, and 114?
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes,
yes on all.
yes,
Commissioner Nash,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes on all.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes on all.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes on all.
That is 7 yes, 0 no.
Thank you, and those motions carry.
That completes my report, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much. We will move on to my report. Are there any committee liaisons that have a report today? Seeing none,
Madam
I do.
Chair,
Yes, go right ahead, Commissioner Nash.
wasn't 113 supposed to be tabled until today?
Yes,
Yeah, it's later in the agenda.
we have it on the agenda as we move forward.
Oh,
It would, yep, it's actually number 11.
oh, okay, I couldn't see.
Yep, all right. Thank you. Well, I have some committee liaison, there are appointments to some boards that have people retiring or leaving or their term is up. I would like to suggest an appointment of Jim Fisher to be reappointed to the Department of Health and Human Services Board through 2023. For the Road Commission Board, to reappoint John DeWolf for 2026. In the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee, Erin Schmitz, and she will be in the Amusement Attractions slot through 2023. And the Veterans Advisory Committee through 2024, Annette Davis and Gary Foster. Do I have a second for those appointments?
Support.
We have a support by Commissioner Nash.
Madam.
Are there?
Madam
Yes, go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
just, one of the appointments, the one to the road commission, Mr. DeWolf has been there for like forever.
Yes, he is. And he is the only person that we did have one other person that applied for that job, but they are from a city and the road commission does not work with cities. They only work with townships and villages. The cities get their own road commission money. So he was the only viable person that applied.
There are definitely other people. They just didn't know about it, but I don't think one person should be there for 20 years. That isn't right.
I'm not exactly sure how long he has been there.
just
a long time.
Point, it's not 20 years, Bob. I think this is his second term that he's completing.
How long is the term? 6 years?
6 years.
It's 6 years. Since I have been, this is the first 2 years I've not sat on that committee, and I've been very impressed with him and his, willingness to go out and look at all the different roads and come back with some good discussion. So I do believe he'll be a good appointment.
I would agree with you, Madam Chair.
Mhm.
Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call on the proposed appointments?
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Can I vote since my name's on that, Madam Clerk?
No.
Then I will abstain.
You can vote on everything except the Veterans Advisory.
I will vote yes on everything except for the Veterans Advisory, yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes on all.
we have 7 yeses on all, although Vice Chair Foster is abstaining from voting on the veterans.
Thank you very much, and those motions pass. Next, I'd like to move on to a proclamation for appreciation and admiration for the election workers.
So
And
moved.
although,
Support.
thank you.
Support.
We have a motion and support. You know, and I certainly appreciate one of the community members voicing his opinion, but I have certainly heard from a lot of people, and I voted at the polls, and I was certainly impressed by how professional and how thorough they were when I was at the polls myself and waiting in line and all the things they had to deal with. I thought they were very professional and very, at least in my precinct.
Could not agree more.
And all of you, if you have not had a chance to read that proclamation, I would like for you to read it. We would like to post it on our county website, and we would like to offer each one of you a copy of the proclamation to give out to however many you need for your different precincts in your area. If you would like to personally present one, otherwise we will have one mailed to each clerk if you'd like us to do that.
Send them to us so we can
Send them
get
to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to
We'll
hand
do that.
mine out to my clerks.
more
I
personal.
would think, I would too. I think that's an excellent idea. We'll make sure that each one of you gets enough for your precincts and the areas that you are in. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call for the proclamation and appreciation? Did you have something, Ken?
Just to point out that the numbers came in perfectly this time. There was no bumps anywhere, considering all of the absentees and all of that. If there were hiccups somewhere else, it had nothing to do with the clerks and the voting.
That's exactly right. Thank you very much for mentioning that. Anyone else? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote on the proclamation for appreciation and admiration to election workers?
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes,
7 yes.
and that motion passes.
Madam Chair. may I
Yes,
comment?
yes, go ahead, Commissioner Skolnick.
Just out of respect to what Mr. Bush's comments, I've been involved, I've been an elected official for a long time, and I've paid attention to elections, and there's always some, sometimes there's people handing out literature closer than 100 feet to the poll, or various, there's signs that are too close to where you vote. But they're relatively minor infractions, and if you let somebody know, they take care of it right away. I mean, considering what happened in this election, it really was amazing how well it went with very few glitches. I know there was something in Casnovia, but that was actually caught right away and fixed.
Yes.
Really, it was an amazing, considering like in Norton Shores, there were over 10,000 absentee ballots, way more, maybe 3 times more than normal. And somehow it all got done.
Yes, they did. They did an excellent job. I thought so too. Next, we will move on to the proclamation recognizing the COVID-19 frontline workers.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Just a quick one, and that is this proclamation, initially I was going to do just healthcare, but this tells us not only healthcare, but everybody involved, and we're all in this together. All of us need to make some sort of sacrifice or movement forward to help the health of the Muskegon County residents.
Thank you, Ken, for saying that. And I would also like to say right now that I'd like to offer a big thank you to Kathy Tharp. She put this together with very little time, and it just turned out really, really good. She thought of some things that I would have never thought of and recognized some people that really needed to be recognized. Kathy, I really appreciate all the effort you put into that. Thank you very much. And Kristen, I'm sure you got your nose in there too, helping, and I appreciate all of it so much. Thank you.
Chair, did you notice the paragraph that said, and thanks especially to Kathy Tharp?
Well, I know Kathy worked on it really hard, and I know that her and Kristen work hand in hand. I just wanted her to know how much I appreciated it. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call on the proclamation recognizing the COVID-19 frontline workers?
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes,
That is 7 yes.
thank you, and that motion carries. Next, I would like to turn to Beth Dick, and she is going to give the administrator's report. Beth,
Actually,
I'm going to do this.
Chairperson Hughes, you do have one more item under your list.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking you were going to do that. Number G is to extend the declaration of local, state, and emergency through December 8th. You have a copy of that in your board packet. And on November 16th, the Muskegon County Board Chair declared a local state of emergency to reduce the transmission among staff, yet maintain the balance of providing essential and necessary governmental operations and services while minimizing the spread of the virus and the negative impacts to county residents. The local administrative order is set to expire on November 22nd. It is necessary to extend the local administrative order by a vote of the Board of Commissioners through December 8th, 2020. And that's
So
what I would
moved.
like is a motion to do that. We have a
Support.
motion and support. Are there any questions or concerns? This was a recommendation from our health department and many other county leaders.
This is state health department, right?
This is the state and our public health department.
And public health, okay.
Yep. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call on this, please?
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
That's 7 yes.
Thank you very much. And that motion passes. Now I will turn it over to Beth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have one item for your consideration today, and it's actually the motion that was tabled on Tuesday to be brought back today for reconsideration, to approve the repayment of $106,064.89 in unexpended CDBG housing grant funds from prior years to the state of Michigan MEDC and amend the budget accordingly.
Who made the motion to table?
Let me see.
Be in a minute.
I thought you did, Charles.
I think it-
Might have been me. I honestly do not remember that.
I thought it was Charles. But
I thought it was,
That's what I was going to guess as well.
Charles, we think you did it.
Careful,
You did,
Charles.
you did it, Charles.
I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I want to make sure I believe the motion maker has to make a motion to remove from the table.
Okay.
The motion maker or the one that seconded?
Since I do not know that right offhand,
Wouldn't it be in the minutes?
yes, but I don't have them printed out in front of me.
No, I don't
All I
either.
have is the agenda printed out in front of me.
Wait a minute.
Uh,
Who supported it?
No one knows.
No one knows.
We don't remember.
I'll lay claim to it if you want.
Who was that?
I'll
I'm
take
I'm going to ask our corporate counsel who is on today. Does it have to be the person who made the motion to table that brings it back to the table?
Yeah, I'm looking. You guys always give me the hardest questions. On a
We do.
moment's
That's our job.
notice.
We're
Yeah.
really good at it too, aren't we?
You are. You are good
Well,
at it.
I'm repeating what you talked to us about before. I remember you specifically saying it had to be the person or the second person
that was a different.
table.
Yeah, that was a different motion. That was for reconsideration.
Reconsideration.
Yeah, and I do think this one is okay to bring back because the following motion was tabled to be brought back at the full board.
Well, I'll make a motion to remove from the table the motion before us.
Perfect.
And I'll support.
We have a motion and
I
support.
think you're fine with anybody doing it.
Okay, perfect. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call on removing that motion from tabled?
Now, wasn't there some concern about
This is just removing it from the table.
55,000?
This is so we can
This
discuss
is just
it.
removing it from the table for discussion.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hubby Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
That's 7 yes.
Yeah, I'm in here now, and I vote yes also.
Thank you. Would you please mark Commissioner Laring as here and record his vote? Thank you. All right, now the motion is to approve the payment of $106,064.89 in unexpected CDBG housing grant funds. And the breakdown is included here on what we have not been able to use in the length of time we had to use it.
Madam Chair,
Well-
I'd like for us to make a friendly amendment to remove the $55,274.61 for 7/19 through 6/20 to see if we can get those funds expended before the deadline.
Charles, shouldn't we talk to Tim first before we do that?
Yeah, I wonder, since it goes through 6/20, that was June of this year, and since it's November, I would think we're past the deadline.
No, actually, you have
No.
1 year beyond the date of the year that you received it. So we would have until next June 30.
And that
Right.
would be the 55,000?
Yes.
Okay,
In that
that's
case, I'll support it.
you bet. All right, we have a motion and support. Is there any comments, questions, or concerns?
I would
Now
like,
this-
Tim
Go ahead.
Burgess is on. Could he explain what happened in this situation? And also, we want to make sure that we can fix the third one, the 55,000.
Okay. Tim, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. Can you explain this to us a little better?
Yes. My understanding is with CDBG that if the funds that are accumulated exceed $35,000, they are considered federal funds and must be returned. If it is an amount less than 35,000 accumulated throughout their year, which is July 1 to June 30, then at the discretion of the county, it can either be taken to the general funds or used for emergency repair. So you can obviously see that two of those figures are above $35,000, so they must be returned to the
I see.
MEDC.
But the third one, the 55,000, we have another year to spend it. Is that correct or not?
I don't think so. It says 6 of 20 and it's already 11 of 20.
Oh, she said a year after
That's,
that.
I'm going by what Beth
That's
said.
Tim,
Yeah.
can you verify that?
I can find out through Mr. Vinson, but my understanding from Mr. Vinson was because the amount exceeded 35,000, that it must be returned because
Okay.
it is considered federal.
If it had been under 35, we could have gone forward and used it, correct?
Correct. Now, if you look at, and the reason the 1775 was included to return, or actually that could actually be absorbed into the general fund. You really can't do a project for 17.5,
Right.
and you cannot mix program years when using program in.
I see. Okay.
The
Beth,
reason,
should I ask for your comment on that?
Yes, thank you. Just to point out that I did have one of my staff members speak with this Mr. Vincent that Tim refers to. He's an individual that works with the CDBG grant funds at the state. And what we were told, or my staff member was told from that person, is that you do have 1 year after the year that you receive those funds to spend them. He had indicated that because quite a bit of time, you have to actually submit a project plan, and then you have to submit that to the state. They have to review it. You have to hire a program administrator. All of those things have to happen. And that individual indicated that because we're already into November, it would be difficult to try to spend the rest of the money, the 55,000, between now and June 30. That was the communication that we had received from that individual at the state. But I was hoping that Tim would be able to maybe provide some insight of what is involved in letting people know that these funds are available, how time consuming that is, how do you publicize that to people out in the public?
the quickest way to do that is generally is through 211 or just through the housing coalitions that are out there. The continuum here. I mean,
I can't quite
getting that,
understand.
Can't hear you.
getting
You
that
gotta
kind of,
speak up.
how about that?
That's
Yeah.
better.
Better.
Sorry about that. Getting the word out is not difficult. You can do that through call 211. You can do that through some of the various housing coalitions that are out there, through the continuum of care. That's relatively easy. As far as expending it, the process itself is not that difficult, really. I mean, I've done it before. I was a third-party administrator for the county CDBG years and years ago with Neighborhood Investment Corporation. Getting it spent isn't the difficulty. Now, if they want a separate person to be the administrator for it, then now that's a whole different kettle of fish and getting all that stuff.
Who was they?
MEDC.
If they want.
MEDC.
At one time, these funds were held by MISTA. And when we first started getting some of these funds back, this program income, they indicated that we could not use those funds because we did not have an existing CDBG grant. Years ago, if you'll recall, this was an automatic grant every 2 years for $300,000 for non-entitlement communities. We started making that competitive about 7-8 years ago, something like that. And now these funds are not a slam dunk and do not automatically come to us. This program has been handed off 5 or 6 departments from my recollection throughout the years. I mean, it's kind of nomadic.
Charles, could I make a comment?
guess
Maybe you should. Go ahead, Charles.
Well, I guess I'm very concerned because we've been getting these funds and I don't remember us ever sending these funds back. And even understanding and knowing the limits and limitations, why are not we being expedient and trying to make sure that these funds are expensed one way or another, or at least is spent down under 35,000 so that we could still keep the money and put that money into some other local projects here through the county. But for some reason, we're missing the ball on this. And I think that's inexcusable.
I know it used to be handled by the grants administrator, but that position no longer exists in the county.
Okay, but understanding these funds have to be spent and how they have to be spent, we should be forecasting this. This should not be happening year after year.
So how do we make that happen, Commissioner Nash?
That's what I'm asking Tim.
Well, you guys want me to start using those funds at the land bank?
They should have been used at the land bank a long time ago. We should not be sending them back. Sending funds back does not look good for Muskegon County, especially with the need base that we have. And then it makes harder for us to get new CDBG funds when we have to send them back. Every dime should be spent. We should not be sending funds back.
Agreed.
Mr. Nash, should we alter your motion to mention if feasible?
I would say that why don't we delay it and give Tim an opportunity to see if he can find a way to work a miracle out and get these funds expended as soon as possible so that we don't send them back and it doesn't make us look bad. At least we halfway save face and somebody gets the help that they need.
If you just amend your motion to say if feasible, then we can go forward with that plan. They don't have to
Tim,
come back in front of us again.
I do think that, Tim, we need to look at, I mean, since we obviously were unable to use them in the community, the land bank is a logical place to use them. So,
Exactly.
I do have a question though. Can we still use the ones from that have expired in 15 and 17? Or do those
No, they
automatically have to go back?
Yeah,
Those
they
have to go back. Okay, so Charles's motion is to pay back the 2 years that we do have to pay back and keep the last year of 55,274.61, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam
Does
Chair,
everyone understand that?
That would change the total to $50,790.28 from the number that's currently in the motion.
Okay, and so that's what we would like to do.
okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Marcia?
A budget amendment may be necessary. Does that mean we spend that much 50 some odd thousand less because we have to pay back this old money?
So we did not budget, there is sufficient cash in this fund, the CDBG Housing Grant Fund, to repay this money. However, we did not budget for fiscal 2021 an expenditure for returning this money. So we need to, regardless if it would have been the 106,000, now we're revising that to 50,790. We need to amend the budget in order to be able to cut a check and send that money back.
So that
And
costs
Charles-
us for 2021.
Right.
That much less we can help people with.
If we're able to do that, which Tim will look into.
Charles, would you amend your motion to also amend the budget accordingly?
Yes, ma'am.
I will support the same.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, may I add something?
Yes, go right ahead.
I think that CDBG funds fell under Judy Kell when she was still at the county.
That's
And
correct.
the land
Somebody
bank
has a beeper going.
Yeah, I'm here too.
and
Not my pacemaker.
the land bank
Uh,
is not, the land bank is actually a separate organization. I mean, it's not, they're not actually a county, they're separate. So we need, I guess they could do it, but I mean, this, Tim, have you ever spent CDBG funds before?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Skolnick, even though the land bank is a separate entity, I'm still a county employee, and we can still utilize these funds. Again, they can only be used in non-entitlement communities, everything except Muskegon Heights, and Norton Shores. it's easy enough to do. And I would just be the county point of contact in the,
Okay.
in the
No,
county.
I wasn't even, Tim, were you aware of the fact that these funds were even there?
No, I wasn't aware that some money was coming in, and sometimes, by and large, it comes across my desk. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, say, if it's a refi, they'll just wire it, and I had no idea that it got there. Now, one thing that we must remember also is the rule used to be we could not spend it because we did not have a existing CDBG grant. That was when it was under MISTA. I don't know how long or when it got switched to MEDC.
All right, so really, we just found out that Tim didn't even know that the money was there, so.
Yeah, so let's spend it.
So, and I'm fairly, I know with no doubt in my mind that Tim can spend it. I've worked with him long enough to know that he's already got more money than this spent in his mind. Thank you, Tim.
Hey, we're the government, we can spend, come on.
That's right.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Yes, Gary, please go ahead.
Beth, could I ask you to put your financial director hat on and ask you if this is a smart and wise move for us to do?
I mean, if it's something we can actually get spent between now and when the deadline is, I would think, yes, we should try to spend it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, that was one other thing, if I may. I was planning
Yes.
on trying to work with Mike Bow from Veterans because, you know, Mike does the DTE energy program, the furnaces and hot water heaters and such. He often will field calls for other needs. And I think that would be another great conduit.
Excellent idea, Tim. Excellent idea. Real estate right now is having to have a new furnace installed just in case she qualifies for that.
That's who came to my mind
I'm
when we talked
freezing.
about it.
She's freezing right now as we talk.
You must remember the border.
So,
And like
all
Tim
right.
was saying, I think we got some great land bank properties. We
I
might
do
be able to
too.
something.
I do too. All right. Are there any other questions or comments on this motion from the table, from the floor? All right. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes,
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
That is 8 yes.
Thank you. And that motion carries. Beth, did you have anything else for us today?
Madam Chair, that completes my report.
Thank you very much. Under old business, I would like to turn to our corporate counsel, and he has provided for you today. You should have gotten an email to give us some information to look at for the DDA in Fruitport Township. Doesn't require a vote today, but I'd like for all of you to make sure you take a look at it and get back to us with any information you have, any questions you have. Mike, do you want to add anything to that, or?
Sure. At a meeting prior, the county board gave us clear direction about opting out of the capture of its taxes with the intention to negotiate an agreement in good faith with the DDA. What we've actually done is we've actually started drafting or working on an agreement. It's really a tri-party agreement that would involve the Township of Fruitport, the DDA, and the county to share that revenue. I think we had a very productive meeting the other day with the supervisor, Ms. Tice, from the township, along with their attorney, Mr. Bolche. And I indicated to them that I would be circulating a draft agreement so that once the DDA board is established, that we would have the opportunity to discuss some more specific terms of the agreement during a future meeting. So I only bring this to your attention to let you know that I'm going to be circulating this to the township and its council. The DDA could, if it chooses to, hire separate counsel or retain Mr. Bolche as well. So I don't know yet, because we don't have members of the DDA who have been appointed, who those members will be. But I suspect that within the next few months that we'll get something probably before the township board, the county board, and the DDA to consider for approval. When that will be depends somewhat on the appointment of members to the DDA.
All right, thank you. And I know that they're probably looking towards spring to get going on this. So thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate it. I'd like everybody to take a look
Madam
at that.
Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, this is to Mike. So is that why I can't find any specific amount? Because you haven't negotiated it yet.
Yeah, we haven't, we've only discussed preliminarily some amounts, but it doesn't make sense because the DDA has to agree to it. So we need to have those discussions with them.
Right, okay.
Any other questions on this? All right. Seeing none, we will move on to, is there any other old business?
Madam Chair, this might fall under old business if I
Okay.
may. With the COVID events and the townships now going to Zoom meetings themselves as we are, is there a way, and I might be outside the box on there, is there a way we could guide them on how to do Zoom meetings? I mean,
in all honesty, I would really hate to take on that responsibility because
I do
we've
too,
already had trouble with Zoom.
Yeah, or even they're kind of lost. Some of these townships have never dealt with this and they're looking to us for guidance.
I'm gonna defer you to Director Phillips, who I believe is still on the meeting. Director Phillips, are you still on the meeting?
Madam Chair, if you would just ponder this maybe in the next week so we could help these townships in the near future with this COVID outbreak.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes, there you are, sir.
Sorry about that. Ivan Phillips, Director of IT. We'd be more than happy to help them out in best practices and how to set up Zoom meetings.
So can we have them just reach out to you individually?
That would be fine.
Okay, so I think all the commissioners here might find that very useful to tell their townships.
Okay.
Thank you, Ivan.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And Director Phillips, I know my township is already working with WebEx and you're familiar with both. So I think it would depend on which, please just help them with whatever it is they need. So thank you so much.
I used the word Zoom as a category, ma'am.
Right. And I don't care if they need help. I appreciate you helping. Thank you very much. Is there anything else under old business? Seeing no other old business. Let's see here, I've lost myself. Is there any new business to come before this committee? Seeing none, public comment. Is there any members of the public that have a comment? I'm looking for the attendee list. Anyone that I don't see, please speak up.
I don't see any hands.
I don't either. Seeing none, how about any full final board comments? Final board comments? Seeing none. Oh, we do have somebody.
Move for
Simone.
adjournment.
Just wishing everybody a good Thanksgiving coming up and stay safe.
I'll support that.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that. Anyone else?
Don't eat too much turkey.
That's right. Don't eat too much turkey. All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. And we have a motion and support. All those in favor, aye.
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 And we are adjourned. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving.